Well, welcome back to this garden tour in Norfolk. We're going to run you around some of the highlights flowering here in middle of June. It's looking really good. We've got lots and lots to show you this afternoon. Sun's just starting to set here in Norfolk. We've had a beautiful sunny day. First bit of warm weather really in June. I've been watching some of my videos and I've been doing a lot of whinging about the weather. It's been a little cold. But you know what, that's been very good for a lot of these flowers that are really lasting longer, starting to open up now, probably about 2 or 3 weeks later than would normally be the case for them, but all the better for it. And we've got a lot of things cross flowering at different times that would normally not be doing so. First of the roses just starting to come out. Just look at the potential in this Kiffsgate Improved. I had to remember the name of it then. It's an absolutely massive rose, still not showing any colour in the bud, but just look at those rosy buds forming on this beautiful rose that's just rambling over this old shed. It's going to be absolutely spectacular in about another week, and that's part of the joy of gardening, having all these things to look forward to. These Siberian irises, absolutely lovely. I've got some more of those to show you in just a minute. Now this is the wildflower area that we leave every year and hope it comes back, and it does again and again. Just look at the Oxeye, absolutely at its very peak right now, with the campion, some of which is already run to seed. It's got to be left with the cow parsley to seed for the following season, and the old orchards here in the farm garden really just at the end of their season, but we still leave these now until the end of July or August, because although the daffodils have died back down, they'll be seeding, and then we'll get a run of dandelion and the cow parsley, and more flower will come on gradually over the next few weeks. Long rose borders here, just starting. More of that Siberian iris that I'm so fond of, and the oxeyes and foxgloves in this border doing really well. This is a brand new addition. You may have seen the video we've done this afternoon on us creating this little border of iris, precipitated by a digger man wanting to put some drains in the yard, and I had to rescue all those irises. It's a single clump that's gone in around here, so I'm hoping they're going to be all the same colour. Obviously not going to know that till next season. I do know these are all the same colour. This is one of my favourite irises. We've done a specific video just showing these coming into their best. They're still flowering nicely. A lot of people moan that irises are so short-lived in their flower season, but as they get into large clumps like this, then that's extended out as it opens gradually. I still think if you've got the space to do so, then bearded irises are one of the most luxurious garden plants to have and enjoy in your garden, and this is just a wonderful variety of them. And on the back of what was the old border of the swimming pool, these alliums have been doing marvellously this season, and the Catmints, Philadelphus, which was moved, Alstroemeria, and just look at these Catmints, long runs of them doing so well down this gravel path. Excuse the watering pipe, we are having to do some watering here in Norfolk now, which I don't mind at all, coming from the borehole, keeping the pigeon bath pretty topped up. It needs cleaning out pretty regularly at this time of year, but they do enjoy it. Cirsiums that we videoed earlier in this week, flowering away beautifully. More mixed plantings of that allium with the catmint, such a lovely combination. And the delphiniums starting into flower beautifully here, a lovely big clump. We planted I think about 5 or 6 plants of this white one, absolutely pure white with that green centre. Not supported, we've got such a dense planting in this border. We haven't had to put any stakes in for them, and I'm hoping we're going to get away with it this season. And the very first of the roses in this border just starting to emerge. Should give us colour for the rest of the season here. So much promise coming on. It's just a lovely time of year to be in this garden. And we're really starting into rose season. This little one's just planted at the base of this really old apple tree, which is on its way out, to be fair. State of the bark on this one, just look. I'm surprised it's still hanging in there because, yeah, the whole thing moves. I think we've probably got another year at the most of this old apple tree before she keels over, but I'm just going to make the most of it during this season and enjoy this marvellously scented old-fashioned rose. But just look at this, about to explode, our long rose arch, just full of bud, and the scent here is just exquisite. Now the main rose in this planting is actually the Generous Gardener, which is one of my all-time favourites. I think if I had to pick just a single rose to go, it would have to be this one, because the combination of that beautiful red stem growth in early spring, the lush emerald green foliage, and then these full quartered lush pink blooms held in such volume. Just look at this bud formation. This is just going to pop in about a week. Looking really, really lovely. But if you really want impact and scale, then you can't go far wrong with a Paul's Himalayan musk. I don't think I can pan back quite far enough to show you the sheer volume and scale and height. Those top buds are probably running at around 5.5 meters, and they'll grow up through this old apple tree at the end of this run and arch down, and every single arch next year will be covered in these buds, as you can see forming here. And the scent off a Paul's Himalayan musk is, well, you've got to experience it to believe it. It is heady. On the end of that run, coming through to the new cutting garden in front of the converted barn, this beautiful peony. I think it's probably, let me think, which one is that? Now it's gone, but I will try and put it in the comments. It's a lovely peony, whatever it is, and full, big, heavy buds on it coming out just now. More of that fantastic self-seeded oxeye daisy with a little bit pop of that iris we showed you in that big drift. Geums in the background. One of my favourite plantings at the moment, combinations and drifts, is that view. Pure accidental planting. You've got the white pelargonium in the pot in the foreground, Siberian iris in that characteristic blue, just at that height, perfect with the chives, which, if you ask me, are as good as any thrift or other allium planted in a mass row like this. Just picks it up with just planted behind it the Cicericium with a Canasia. Just look at the height on that, perfectly, just it layers so beautifully this. And then that little white Siberian iris, which we'd completely forgotten was planted in here. But just look at that, the form on it, so beautiful. Upright stance, and then with the little, again, self-seeded Aquilegia just coming up in there. What a lovely accidental planting with that bronze fennel just lifting it all. Let me just move back and give you the full effect that I get from back here. I think that works really, really nicely. Even in the evening light we've got here, not in direct sunlight, the colour's still bright enough just to pop. And then in the foreground, we've got the pots that we showed you being planted up a couple of weeks ago, really nicely settled in now. And we're trying for the first time a really quite bizarre combination of bedding. Don't know how it's going to do, but just works nicely, and the layers that build up in this garden as you look at it. That's the Paul's Himalayan musk in the background there, still to show any bud colour, but that is just going to explode into a beautiful pink display of rose blossom over the next week. So plenty coming on in this garden. We've only shown you a small section here this evening, but we're very pleased with the progress it's making. Thanks for watching.